WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting often rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have Bruichladdich Islay Barley 2013. Ooh, nice. So over here in Germany, this is a 60 euro bottle. Sometimes you can get on sale for 50, sometimes you find it for 70. So this is going to be our Whiskybase number 205934. We have 75% would be here American oak casks, and 25% will be wine cask. We'll talk about that in a moment. This was actually bottled on the 25th of October 2021. 50% as usual for Bruichladdich. And what I would like to do now is I would like to show you the website here from Bruichladdich for this bottle, which I thought was fabulously done, to be honest. All right. So the first thing you have here is the beautiful picture of the bottle. And then you can actually choose to have a tin, the can, or you want it. Now, if you click on this, you actually, you actually can see here, hey, click on this and you get this information here. Here we go. 4,807 tins lighter. With your support, we can make the world of whiskey 1 tin lighter. Excellent. 4,000 people have actually said no to these tins, not just with the Islay Barley 2013. So we'll come to the barley farms in a moment, because what we have here is we have a little map here. So this is going to actually play. This is the 3D version of Islay. So we start off the Bruichladdich distillery, and then we go over here to the Rockside farm with Mark French. That is the same place where Kilhoman is, by the way. So over here we have the Cool farm with Donald and Andrew Jones farming that. Then we go over here to the Zunder land farm with Raymond Stewart. Not touching this is done automatically. This is the Island farm from Ian McCarroll. Then we go over to the Cruach farm. That's just right underneath Bowmore, Hunter Jackson. And then we go over to the Mulindry farm from Alistair Torrance. And last but not least, we have also the Dunlusset farm from Raymond Fletcher. So it starts all over again. So you can actually go a little bit up and down, and you can go left and right. I'm not a big fan of this one, but that's all right. All right, so we'll go back to that. You can actually see the farmers here. So you get to see Hunter, you get to see Andrew, you get to see Mark, you get to see Ian. I think Mark French's wife was my tour guide at Kilhoman. I'm not sure. Alistair Torrance. Then we have Raymond Fletcher. And we have another Raymond, which is interesting. All right. So we have a little bit of the facts and figures of the Bruichladdich barley. Now, I'm going to compare it to the Bruichladdich 2012. And there's actually one, I thought that was kind of interesting. There was one farm missing, and that was the farm named, what was it? Starch Mill. So Starch Mill was missing, and so, yeah. So what we have here is unpeated Islay single malt Scotch whiskey. We have 100% Islay grown barley, and it's all Concerto. Last year, we actually had different barley variants. I will read them out real quick. It was Concerto. It was Oxbridge, which I've never heard of. It was Propino, never heard of that. And Publican. I had heard of the Publican varietals. Everything is unpeated. They use the same yeast strain as they normally do. That's Maori and Kerry. The distillation was 2013, yet the barley was harvested in the fall of 2012. So it is a single vintage expression. Therefore, the Scotch Malt Whisky Association cannot have anything against us showing that information. So we have 75%, and even with the bottle from 2012, I had the same problem. Full term, first fill, ex-American whiskey casks. Maybe they're using rye and bourbon. But what in all the freaking name of whatever does full term mean? I don't know. And this year, they actually just didn't say 25% French wine casks. They said ex-French wine casks, and they named the wines previously held. Ribera del Douro, I thought that was Portugal. Shiraz, and also a Palak wine. 8 years, and it was actually bottled as all Bruichladdich bottles are on Islay with the spring water and non-chill filtered and coloring free at 50%. Very, very nice. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to, or at least I'm going to taste it and go back a little bit here to our nice little tasting notes. Oh, Jason, I didn't pour it. I thought I had poured it and it would have been breathing the entire time here. Shame on me. So you can see the bottle over here. So of the 2012, I think I actually donated the bottle to a museum, a whiskey museum. Either that or it's actually been thrown away and destroyed. I don't know. Now, the very, very first thing I do notice is the color. For me, the color of the 2013 is a little bit more of a darker reddish moment. It's not red, but it's a little bit darker red. I prefer the 13 to the 12. Just spoiler alert here. So now I was at the Distillery Bruichladdich and the beginning of May 2022. I visited all 9 distilleries on Islay. I did. We did a group of 6 of men and I. We did warehouse tastings a lot where possible. We went to Jura. We visited over 10 different distilleries on Islay, and also, if you count Port Ellen, we looked at it being built. And to be very honest, now I'm going to actually make some people angry here. Bruichladdich did not actually remain as a highlight of my tour. It was good, but it wasn't outstanding. Why? I really don't know. That was one of the things where I didn't have to drive. So I didn't have to drive for Buna. I didn't have to drive for Bruichladdich. I was able to drink. So I do know that I brought home from the warehouse tasting a 17-year-old Bruichladdich, and to our accommodations I put on the table with my samples. I didn't even drink everything at the warehouse tasting. I filled it up in little sample bottles to get home with me, and I put the Octomore on the table. I put the Port Charlotte on the table, and I put the Bruichladdich on the table. Well, Octomore and Port Charlotte were gone within seconds, minutes, whatever. And the Bruichladdich I took home with me to Germany. It wasn't actually the showstopper. Bruichladdich, for many people, Port Charlotte is maybe the absolute best Islay peated whiskey there is for price, value, and money. For many people, Octomore is the best peated whiskey in the world. Full stop, period, end of sentence. But I don't hear very many people actually ranting and raving about how great Bruichladdich Classic Laddie is, or the other ones, or the Islay Barley, or the Beer Barley. Oh, they're nice, they're good, they're okay, they're not bad, but no one's going, wow, the best stuff I've ever had in the world. I'm going to go buy 12 bottles and put them in my bunker. Or am I missing something? I know people who bought, of the Buna 12 cask strength, for example, cases. Now, this is a very nice nose. There's honey. There's dried apricots. It's an interesting combination of the American oak and the French oak, the French wine cask. I assume they were in French oak as well. If I go over to the 12-year-old, the 12-year-old is totally different. 75% American cask, 25% French oak casks. A little bit different, mainly Concerto, here Concerto, but other varieties of barley as well. But still, this is barrel char. This actually goes a little bit even to as if the faint still had some peat in there. Much better, much more honey. Cheers. This is a nice whiskey for the summer. The whole time I'm getting like honey cashews. And the problem is, this is not nutty. I'm going to read the official nosing notes. It says here, this is stunning on the nose. The freshness and purity of the spirit is striking. A kaleidoscope of vibrant aromas pour from the glass. First, citrus, didn't get that. Honey, got that. Emerged before stone fruit, dried apricots, got that. And the perfume of ripe peaches. Apricots and peaches for me almost the same, but yes. Sweet notes of marzipan. Didn't get marzipan. Oh, the almond. Okay, yeah, it's honey almonds and not honey cashews. All right, got it. Yellow flowers, vanilla pods, and then sapphires of spice, cereal, and marine breeze. With time, the oak notes elevate as the vanilla, creme brulee, caramel, and the wood spices come to the fore. Then gentle hints of cinnamon and ginger cake and syrup add to the anticipation of tasting. I don't know who wrote those tasting notes, but wow. That's almost overkill, but still actually good. On the nose, and it's very interesting, they put color, taste, nose. I would put color, nose, taste. I nose before I taste, but hey, who knows? And they say here, the oak cradles the soft fruit of distillation with a perfect balance and harmony. The delicate sweetness and luscious texture are like velvet on the palate. It is very, very palate pleasing and oily and luscious. The balance of those sweet, ripe stone fruits flavors with the vanilla, caramel, and brown sugar notes of the oak is perfect. The vintage of Islay Barley is bottled at just the right moment to capture the DNA of our island and the whiskey we distill on its shores. Add a touch of water and watch as the natural oils react in the glass, releasing wonderful floral notes of hawthorn and heather to add to the complexity and depth of this remarkable Islay. Islay is an inhabitant of the island of Islay. Just like we have someone who's a Philadelphian, because they're from Philadelphia, someone from Islay is called an Islay. So, I have to add a little bit. This is, for me, somewhere between a C plus and a B minus. Depends on my mood. It gets better with water, by the way. Dilute it down to 43%. That's a B minus in my book. As I said, I like this, but there's nothing I'm going to write home about. This is the 40-euro whiskey in my book. Add another 10 because it's Bruichladdich. Add another 10 because of the Islay Barley and so on. And ta-da, you get the price they're asking for it. Will most of these bottles disappear fairly quickly? Yes. Interesting enough, the 12 is still available over here in Germany. Not on the website of Bruichladdich, but in many shops it's still there. Sweet, floral, honey, nice. So now going over to the 2012, I had some problems with this. I have some problems with it on the nose. It's a little bit more alcoholic. There's more of a ethanol moment going on here. There's a lot more of a barrel char. And when I try this is sweet and nice. And I'm going to use the word that they had here. Instead of honeyed almonds, I'm going to go with marzipan. This is not. There's a barrel char moment going on there that's weird for me. They said themselves, and I thought that was kind of interesting, the texture and mouthfeel for a young whiskey is a testament to the slow, careful distillation, the quality of the Islay grown barley, refined and complex in the palate. The sleekness carries the fruit, caramel, and oak notes in succession as the flavors develop and deepen on the palate. The distillery character, the fruit and floral style are immediate and distinctive. Ooh. The creaminess and the notes of porridge and rice pudding are malty and rich with brown sugar and dry straw. Yeah. And the fruit notes of pear, melon, and orange wrap around toffee and fudge sweetness combining beautifully. The finish is a salty sea breeze with lingering hints of charred oak, more than just lingering, Sweet, salty caramel and brown sugar, and the melon, the creamy texture settle on the palate and take you to another place. Here, our finish with the one we have from the 2013. I'll end my review here. The finish is a testament to the quality of the distillation as the expression of that marine tang with the sweet citrus and honeyed oat notes tell the story of our whiskey and where it comes from. Natural whiskey with no chill filtration means you will experience as long and gentle a finish as you ever thought possible. So take your time to explore this dram. This will not leave you disappointed. The wonderful complexity and honesty of this whiskey is a joy to behold. Its purity and freshness, its delicate oak sweetness, and expansion of fruit and general floral tones make it a vintage to remember. In fact, it may well be unforgettable. Adam Annett. I did not meet Adam when I was there, but we did have a good time, and it was nice. It was nice. This whiskey is also nice. I'm going to give it a, as I said, B minus, C plus plus, and value for money, the 60 euros. It's a solid C over here. It would be a C plus if it was 50 euros less, and it's actually on sale at one shop at the moment, so I could get it instead of for 60 for 50 euros if I really wanted to again. What is your favorite Islay barley from Bruichladdich? And if that's too difficult, what is your favorite Bruichladdich product? Please write it down in the chat. I prefer the 13 much, much, much more than the 12. 12 was a little bit over challenging for my palate, and the 13 is a little bit sweeter and a little bit nice and round and honey and creamy and yummy. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Whiskey Jason here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell others. Bye-bye.